What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Smoking Tire Podcast. Up first, a couple of you guys, after I moved the ads up front to improve the listening experience, have decided that you'd be really smart and put the length of the ads in the comments so that people could easily skip them. You know who reads those? Our advertisers, and they don't like it. And so if you keep doing that and acting stupid, I'm going to put the ads back in the middle of the show. And I know people don't want me to break from the action in the middle of the show to have ads, but if you can't respect the process enough to not tell people in the comments how to go around the ads, that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to make it a worse listening experience just to spite you all, because the ad money matters. So, in that sense, let's talk about StockX. If you love analog cars, there's a good chance you love mechanical watches as well. We got style, performance, and practicality at the center of car and watch culture alike. Our choice for each says something about us, who we are, and what matters to us. Well, I like to think it does, at least. And when I'm buying a watch, I like to take ownership of the experience as much as I can. That's why I love StockX. StockX is the world's first online stock market of things for high-demand consumer products, including sneakers, watches, and handbags. StockX connects buyers and sellers using the same methodology as the world's stock markets, an anonymous live bid-ask market. All products are physically authenticated by StockX, allowing participants to focus on the transparency of data available, including real-time market pricing, in-depth market analysis, individual portfolio tracking, historical sales, and volume metrics. That means no stressing about shady buyers and sellers, no lengthy descriptions, and no blurry pictures to decipher. All watches are in excellent or better condition. All you have to worry about is finding the watch you want and placing a bid you feel comfortable with. StockX makes buying and selling watches online a lot better. Trust me, give it a try yourself at StockX.com/smoking. That's StockX.com/smoking. How about Auto Tempest? You remember them? They are back. That's right. Auto Tempest makes your life easier, right? I spend a lot of time browsing online classified ads for cars. Sometimes I'm looking to buy. Most of the time I'm just checking out the market, but I always like to know what is what, and I don't like doing double work. Auto Tempest searches all the top car listing sites in one place. Sites like Cars.com, eBay Motors, Car Soup, Cars Direct, and many more, plus many individual dealers and private sellers. You can then compare with results from Auto Trader and all of Craigslist nationwide, not just local 200 miles around your city. Nationwide, folks. So you can find the exact car you want for the best price without wasting a ton of your time browsing around to all these different sites. You know what? Auto Tempest has been really good to us over the last couple of years. We love them. I use them for sure when I'm checking out cars, and you should too. Don't do double work. Just go to autotempest.com and search all the key spots with one click. Autotempest.com. Now, when you're working on a car, you don't like surprises. I don't like surprises because I don't work on cars, but I don't like getting that phone call from the mechanic who found a surprise. And things that you don't think about, how about your belts and your hoses? They dry rot, they crack, especially in dry places like California. Check out Continental Belts. They are OE in tens of millions of Chrysler, Dodge, Ford, and GM vehicles that roll off the assembly line. They're also original equipment on the majority of BMWs and Volkswagens. Now, Continental is launching the aftermarket multi-V belt with the OE pedigree. It's their OE technology series, belts that are fanatically engineered for perfect fit, form, and function. And Continental has an OE technology series multi-V belt for 98% of the vehicles on the road in the US and Canada. You get enough surprises working on cars and trucks. A rotted belt shouldn't be one of them. Go with the Continental OE Technology Series Multi-V Belt, the belt with the OE pedigree. To get the full story, visit oetechnologyseries.com. That's oetechnologyseries.com. All right, on this show, this is a very good one. It's actually a whole week of women on this show. We got 2 episodes of women this week. Today, it's Miss Heather Storm. This girl is just lovely. I had a great chat with her. She's one of the hosts of Garage Squad on Velocity, and just a cool-ass car chick. I didn't really know her before. I just checked out a couple clips of her show. But after our chat, I'm definitely going to be checking out more. Here it is, Heather Storm on the Smoking Tire Podcast. Now it's a show.
Yes.
Smoking Tire Podcast on a Friday afternoon. Hello.
Sweet. Where are the drinks?
What's happening?
It's cocktail hour, isn't it?
You want to go? You want to go? We could do it. Heather Storm in the house. Hello.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks for having me.
You're like this is like an actual interview. Usually I just like have my friends in here and we dick around, but like now it's like we
Well, I can be a friend.
We probably are friends. I go through your work. You're like exactly the kind of person I hang out with.
You're probably on a Facebook friend and we don't even know it.
We might be. We might be. I'm sorry about your traffic from Pasadena.
I was expecting it. That's why I did Uber.
Did you mentally
So I didn't have to
prepare?
drive and get angry at people on the way here and scream and yell at people. Then I would need one of those drinks.
I know what you're talking about. I know exactly what you mean. All I had to do was drive here from Venice and like, you ever, they do, people doing construction around or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
When they shut down an intersection for like 10 minutes with a crane, and I just like was just steam was building and like just turning so red.
Yeah, and then the crane isn't actually moving; it's just sitting there in the middle of the road.
And they don't like make an effort to get the cars around the crane, and it's
no one cares except for the people who are stuck in their car.
On the other hand, I'm building a place around the corner here to store cars in.
Oh.
And a big place for customers, Westside Collector Car Storage, coming summer 19. I'll show it. It's going to be badass. It's going to be real cool.
How big?
It's 150 cars.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's big.
It's big. Yeah, it's big.
Because when you say store cars, that could just be like a couple cars,
No, because what I was getting at is I'm going to have to block all 3 lanes of Centinela for 36 hours.
Oh, so you're going to be that guy.
I'm going to be the guy. So here I was just turning beet red at the thought of this crane blocking the road. And then, and as soon as I got through it, I went, I'm going to be that crane guy.
Yep. It all comes around, doesn't it? It all comes around.
Yeah. We're all hypocrites.
We don't mean to be.
No, we're just selfish. We're selfish humans.
That's just part
humans
of it.
Are just selfish.
By nature.
We just are.
It's hard not to be, isn't it?
Everyone has moments of generosity,
right. And then we're appreciative of that.
Yeah, but I feel like when we're all alone in our cars, it's like, why aren't you all moving?
See, I agree.
We all our appointments are more important than anyone else's appointments.
It's so true. But if you're not driving, it's a lot different. Like if you're just riding,
yeah.
I mean, it's a little stressful still because I'm looking at traffic, but it's a lot better than when you're trying to get around people,
right.
You're yelling.
Yeah, you resign yourself to the situation, and you also are not, when you're driving, you're situationally aware, at least you should be.
Right.
So you see the other lane is moving, and like that, I can't get that way. But
some of us are situationally aware when we're driving.
Not?
I am, but there are a lot of people who I feel like are in their own world, just driving along.
Well, in this city, it's so light to light and slow freeways, and it's so grid that it's really easy to zone out, and you start reading your Twitter feed at that light, and now you're reading the Twitter feed between this light and the next light.
Yeah,
it's hard. Do you ride motorcycles at all?
I got my motorcycle license, but
recently?
I haven't. I think 2 years ago now, but I don't have a motorcycle, so yeah, there's kind of
where did the disconnect happen?
There's kind of a disconnect there. Well, I was really excited, and I want to learn. I mean, I want to be able to ride and enjoy that freedom that comes with that. But after doing the class, I thought, okay, this is something I really have to practice in order to get on the road. And after doing the show, I'm gone 5 months a year, so I'm just not here. It just kind of just went to the side for a minute.
These are excuses.
I know. They are.
These are excuses, and they're not very good.
I have a lot of them. None of them are good.
No, they're not very good. But when you ride motorcycles, especially in the city, the way I go through traffic is I look at everyone's rearview mirrors to see what their eyes are doing, see how their heads are moving, right? If they're going to change lanes, whatever. And all I see are heads and phones. Heads and phones.
I know.
And I try to use that to my advantage, actually. I go, if this person isn't going to see me, then at the very least, they're probably going to just continue in their trajectory. Right. And if I'm going faster, I can get around them, and I'll be gone before they even know I'm there. Yeah.
I do think that, I took the Harley Davidson motorcycle class where you do the whole weekend thing.
Did you do it on big bikes too?
Yes, that's what it was terrifying. I'll be honest with you.
That's amazing.
And they were just a little too big. Like even with the like even to reach with my hands and
Right.
you know, with the throttle and the brakes and everything, I was like, okay, this is not made for me. They were not my size.
Didn't they put you on like a Sportster or something?
No,
Yeah,
no,
883.
no, it was huge bike.
You're on like a fat boy?
I
Like
don't
a
know if it
giant
was a
road
fat
king or
boy, but it
something?
was like an 800, I think, or something. I
It
mean,
was too big.
It was too
Yeah,
big for
yeah,
my
yeah.
size, so I felt like,
Yeah.
okay, when I begin to pursue this again, I
Yeah.
need to really get
Dial it
something that's...
Dial it back a little bit.
But I learned so much and really I actually realized what my dad had been teaching me about driving all the time because he used to ride motorcycles. And that's just being aware of your surroundings. And I
Right.
think that's why that's the type of driver I am. I'm always looking at like, what are you doing? Okay,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
If this person crosses the lane, where's my
Right,
escape
where's
route?
my escape route? And I
It's-
think I wish everybody
Yeah.
to get your driver's license, car or motorcycle,
Yeah.
thought that way, or at
Well,
least was taught that
other
way.
countries
better.
do that, you know. Like you go to Finland or Germany or Sweden or Norway or anywhere in Western Europe pretty much.
Yeah.
And that's what they teach.
Right, they're more aware, and there are a lot more
they
bikes
start driving
too.
when they're 12. Yeah. You know what I mean? You
So
have
it's
to
just part of it.
Yeah,
And they have health insurance.
I get in debates with fools on Twitter all the time about, you know, autonomous cars and whatnot. And like, yeah, eventually we'll get some autonomous cars and that'll be cool. But like when they talk about safety, it's like the reason everyone's focused on autonomous cars and safety is because there's money to be made there.
Right.
To talk about improving driver training and mandatory testing, no one's making any money off that.
No.
That's costing the government money.
Totally true.
At least in the
Right.
short term.
Right.
So nobody wants to hear that bullshit.
But wouldn't it be, I mean, just imagine a world where you're not driving, and if you want to, you can, but
Yeah.
where for the majority, when you go places, you don't have to drive. How much nicer would we all be to people? Because
You
we
know-
wouldn't have been yelling all the way to work.
You ever fuck with electric cars at all? You try an electric car?
I have not driven them a lot, but a little bit.
Have you ever spent a day or two with like a Tesla or
Yeah.
something like that? Do you find that when you arrive in an electric car, you're a little bit calmer than in a gas car? I find this.
You know, I never really thought about that before, but yeah. Well,
It's-
why do
what
you
it
think
is?
that?
It's the vibrations, the noise, the harshness of gear changes and engaging and stuff like that. And when you remove all that noise, vibration, and harshness away, all of that stuff, even in a very refined car like a new BMW or
Right.
something, if you remove it all, it's like the difference between a little bit and zero is massive.
Yeah,
And
I
so
can imagine that.
You kind of you sail along, you know, and there's no jerkiness. And so that I find that even when I drive myself, electricity as a propulsion system is very calming.
Is more calm. Yeah,
Super
that makes
calming.
sense. I mean,
The
you still
most
have to
calming
deal with the
thing-
other drivers, though, which makes
Oh,
me
yeah.
not calm.
Yeah, well, are you an angry driver?
I feel like a lot of people are in my way. I do.
I do too, yeah. I do too. Well, what
And a lot of times they are.
Well, isn't it fucking crazy about this city? Because you're from Montana, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so in Montana, you got lots of big spaces.
Plenty of road.
Right. Plenty of, you can pass, you know, all
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
stuff. Here, I feel like people are so used to the traffic that they just resign themselves to it and they don't see themselves as a potential part of the problem or solution.
They're just going.
Right. No, but it's like they'll make these huge gaps in front of the cars in front of them, and they go, well, what's the difference? It's a red light. And I go, that's 10 cars that could have made it through the light
Right.
behind you, you
Right.
idiot.
Right.
Like, no one ever does the math
Yeah.
of the
Yeah,
car
totally.
the cars behind them.
Yeah, like go. I
Yeah.
know when you're at the light and you're like, come on, we got to make this.
Yeah.
go. And then they just creep forward because they were
Yeah.
looking at their phone. And I'm like,
When I'm driving in LA, it's 50% get me there as quick as possible, and 50% I'm going to be part of the solution and not part of the problem
Totally.
by getting out of everyone else's way.
it's consideration.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just
exactly.
consideration
Totally.
of noticing that people are around you too, and it's like, okay, well, I see that you're behind me. Oh, you want to turn? Okay, yeah, I
Yeah.
don't have to go right now because I did.
The
you know.
over consideration could be a problem.
Oh, it
you
is
go.
sometimes.
No,
Oh, I
you
hate
go.
that. Okay.
No, do the fucking rule on the right.
I know.
You go on the right.
So many people don't know that rule, Max. So many people don't know that rule. Like you get it, and they're like, "Go ahead," and you're like, "But it's your turn. Now you're just stopping traffic."
0 people in Pennsylvania know
Yeah.
the rule. 0 people.
I feel like it
the rule
should.
for buggies.
I feel
buggy
like the
rule.
very simple rule of slow on the right
Yeah.
is just not followed at all, and that causes
No,
accidents.
in LA, the right lane's a fast lane.
because you got to get around everybody going slow in the left lane, but it causes accidents if everyone
Yeah.
didn't have to go
I
around.
don't know. Have you driven in Germany ever?
Yeah, I actually did drive in Germany.
It's amazing.
It is great.
The lane
People are going
discipline.
fast.
Yeah, people go fast, and if you're not going fast, they get the fuck out of the way.
Yeah.
They have a rear view mirror awareness there.
They use it.
Yeah, because if you go, you could get rear-ended at 200 miles an hour by some RS6. The guy's smoking smoking an unfiltered cigarette on his way to whatever engineering job.
Italy too. I was driving in Italy and it was so foggy. I couldn't see anything, right? And I'm going on this curvy road and I'm going slow because I can't see anything. Yeah. And people are passing me so fast. I'm like, how do they know where they're going?
Italy's lawlessness. They don't give a fuck over there, dude. They're crazy. The government has no money, so there's no cops. Nobody cares. They're all half drunk. They drink so much wine at lunch, and they got these little hatchbacks, these tiny roads, and they mob.
And they go fast.
And they drive like life means nothing.
Yeah, they literally, I was like, I can't see another car length ahead of me, literally, and they're just zooming past me.
Local knowledge.
They knew the road, I guess.
Yeah. If you go to England, dude, you'll see, you go some back road in England, and I mean, I've been over there a few times for filming, and we're on these little roads, and I've got like, a Porsche or a Ferrari or whatever, some glamorous thing that I'm filming. Not mine. No, not mine. The test cars. That's my normal job is the test cars. And you see some dude in an MG Metro with like a cage and Panasports like in like Hoosiers on it, just mobbing. Like the rear tires aren't even on the ground. It's just all front tires. And he's like 8,000 RPM in third gear. And he's just going to the pub. Yeah. He's not.
He's in a hurry for that happy hour.
Yeah, he's just hanging out. That bar closes at 7 over there. He's got to get there.
AM the next morning.
Right. No, in England it all shuts down early.
Does it?
Yeah, they're afternoon drinkers in England. Yeah, they don't do it late, except like in London, obviously.
So they can get to work early, but then they start early.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. It's a day drinking culture, really.
Yeah.
So Heather Storm.
That's right.
Host of Garage Squad on Velocity, and now your own YouTube thing.
Yeah, Drive Yourself Local.
Drive Yourself Local, which I saw on the YouTube channel. It looks like you just started that.
Yeah, I just started it.
Like weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Pull up the YouTube channel, Tim, for Drive Yourself Local, so if we talk about things, the video guys, they can see it. See? It goes right in the show.
Wow.
It seemed, the vibe I got was it's basically your version of Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. Don't take that the wrong way. I love Guy Fieri.
It's not, isn't the full intention, but I've only done 2 episodes so far, so both of them have been food and wine related, but I'm kind of just going with whatever I find and want to do. Actually, the third one isn't food related at all, so
it's like a small town culture kind of deal?
More small town culture.
Was that your idea?
Totally my idea.
It's a Montana girl kind of thing, right?
Here's what happened. So we're filming for Garage Squad. We're filming. Am I yelling at you?
No, my headphones are just a little loud.
For Garage Squad.
It's actually for me more than you.
We're filming all out in rural Illinois and small towns, and sometimes we're staying in Best Westerns on the side of the highway, and I'm thinking, like, where can I eat? What can I find? And I ended up finding, the first episode is Bien Cheeto, and I found this little Mexican restaurant, and I went there, and I read all these reviews. I mean, the 5 Yelp reviews that were on there.
Yeah, it's got 5 stars. You're good. I know the Yelp
5
math.
total reviews, because we're in a small town of nothing. And I went in there, and I ended up, having amazing food, and it was such a small little spot, and I ended up talking later. I was like, hey, do you care if I just bring a couple beers in here of my own, because they didn't have any, and I wanted to, drink and work on my laptop a little and eat and just not be in the Best Western hotel room.
Yeah, I understand that perspective.
So I hung out for like 3 or 4 hours there. She shut down and she's like, oh, you could stay. She's like, actually, I'm going to join you with a drink. And so she came out. We had a couple drinks, and then her boyfriend came and brought a cake out because it was her birthday. So it was just three of us sitting in her restaurant, and we sang happy birthday and did a whole thing. And it was super fun. And we just talked for a couple hours. And I thought, I went back to my room and thought, this is what it's about, is discovering those fun little places that you wouldn't even think, and having a great time and connecting with people. And so that kind of spurred the idea.
Yeah. It works.
Yeah.
It does work.
So,
But not, so you said the next one's not food, though. So what is it if it's not food?
I go to, the next one's going to be, or wine. The next one's going to be Pontiac, Illinois, which is Route 66 culture.
Oh, right.
All about Route 66 and a lot of people that come through there and everything. So, it's some interesting places.
What's the town on 66 that was the basis for the town in Cars? What's the name of that? There's an actual town that is the basis for the town in Cars. And it's on Route 66.
I don't know.
No? Tim, Google that real quick. What's the real town that the movie Cars is based on? Route 66 to me, though, is I'm just over it. I think.
Have you been on there and explored anything?
I've done it. I've done sections of it. I
Yeah.
haven't done the full. I've gone cross country like.
Is Radiator Springs a real town?
No. Radiator Springs is the one from obviously from Cars, but the real a guide to the real life Cars movie characters and places. That's it. There is. I'm telling you, it's like in Oklahoma or something.
Yeah.
Or Nebraska. It's like right in the middle. When I go look for roads, I'm a sports car guy. So the idea of cruising a muscle car down Route 66 is not necessarily my idea of a good time.
Right.
I look for the squigglies.
Right.
So for me, it's like Colorado, California, West Virginia. West Virginia has amazing roads.
Really? Yeah, I haven't done that.
Amazing roads.
Yeah.
But no one ever talks about how amazing the roads are in West Virginia. They're so good.
That's why they're probably still so good.
That's probably
Because
true.
people aren't on
that
them,
whole,
ruining
that whole
them.
Smoky Mountain area is rad for driving. Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, because I think this is a fun journey, and I think it's fun to discover some of the nostalgia that, of the past, but I also love driving fast and driving on curvy roads.
Yeah.
That's just not my Mustang necessarily.
Not in that Mustang though, right?
No.
That's a stock 65? Mm-hmm. 289?
289,
There
yep.
you go.
Yeah.
And that's so in your drive yourself local, you're doing the thing where you're driving the Mustang to every place. Are you actually driving that thing to where you go film for the other shows?
No.
Because
we went back.
Are you
I
filming
went
Drive
back
Yourself
there.
Local on the? Are you piggybacking Garage Squad? Because that would be awesome. I love double dipping.
I couldn't. I wouldn't be able to drive my Mustang. I mean, I need to have it.
Production
Yeah,
schedules.
I guess where we're driving for that, driving that every day to and from set wouldn't be ideal.
Guy
No.
Fieri trails it around.
I mean, you kind of would have to at this point. With my YouTube, that's not, I'm driving it to the places we went, but I went and did a road trip and then filmed some of that after we were done with Garage Squad. And I'm going to do another one. I'm not sure where yet. So, yeah.
Oh, shit. What an asshole I am. I'm sorry.
You didn't put your phone on silent.
And it's my show, too. I'm just the worst.
You can do it because it's your show.
Nah, they treat you worse when you do it. You expect the guest to, but it's like, I'm supposed to be professional.
Here come the comments now about you.
Yeah, just click over. You'll see them. They're like, fuck you.
So this is you and your Mustang?
That's me. Yep. That's when I was driving. I think that's in Missouri. I went to Hannibal, Missouri. It's like Mark Twain town, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It was
Hannibal, Missouri?
Yep. It was right. I know.
Is that where Mark Twain lived?
Yeah, he grew up in that area.
Not a Mark Twain scholar.
I learned this by being in the town. I had no idea.
Is his house like a thing?
They had like a replica of like his house. It's very small. It's like the size of this room that we're in right now.
Surprising, right?
Yeah,
I picture Mark Twain living in like a hovel. I don't picture him in like the Big Lebowski house.
Yeah, he wasn't. He's like, yeah. But the whole thing is that the Mississippi River runs down there. So it's pretty cool. It has a lot of history just to understand like how important that river was and just people on steamboats and just, it's just such an interesting time. It's hard to imagine,
Yeah, like this country without interstates, is huge. Is huge.
How did they do it?
I don't know. I do. There is some romance to the crossing the country in the era before interstates, though, wasn't it?
Right.
Cannonball Run. Like the first Cannonball was like pre-interstate for a lot of it.
That's what the whole thing is about. It's like, okay, it's about taking your time. So when you're obviously on a curvy road in a sports car, it's about having fun with the drive. It's a whole different reason for doing it. When you're in a classic car, you're just taking your time. It's about cruising and soaking it in and kind of going back to a slower time.
Yeah.
Where you're taking your time with the moments and enjoying that and not trying to be in a hurry.
I always have such a hard time with that, with the slowing down and the stopping to smell the roses and stuff. I'm always so like into my schedule and what's the next thing, and I'm trying to be considerate and be on time for everything.
Right.
And it's very hard to go, nah, just cruise,
Doesn't
chill.
matter.
Doesn't matter. It's very difficult for me to do that.
in the moment,
trying,
bro.
I know.
I understand that, though, because when I first
started.
started out with that road trip, where that picture was with Missouri, I had this whole like ambitious schedule. Like I'm going to get here to here. Okay, we can do 500 miles. This day we'll stop in this town. Like had it all mapped out. None of that happened. None of it.
I find when I'm planning like filming trips like that. So if you're going by yourself,
right.
you go Google Maps estimate plus an hour for lunch and gas and whatever, right?
Right.
Add a car, you got a time and a half. If it's 2 cars instead of 1. 3 cars, you got to double it.
Oh, right.
4 cars, triple it. And the more cars you have on the journey,
the more time it's going to take to
like
do
when
that
they do
kind
the
of
hot
stuff.
rod tour and they go through that. I think it took them like 8 hours a day to go like 200 miles.
Yeah. Right? It's crazy. And even when I've done like road rallies and stuff like that, it's just you go, I don't understand why Google Maps said 3 hours. Why has it been 5 and we're still going? Oh, because Tom had to stop and piss, and he had to stop for gas, and and
But that happened to me in my Mustang, and I'd lost like an hour somewhere, and I'm like, how did that happen? We didn't time change. We didn't go through a thing, and somehow it just poof.
It just vanished. Yeah.
So soak in the
Plan
moments.
your road trips, people, or don't, and accept that they're going to take forever.
You can have a plan, but I think the important thing is to be flexible because it's not going to go as you plan, no matter what, and
Unless
that's okay. You see, this is why you can't be in the moment, Matt.
Because I know the math. I know the math. I can do the math. That's why.
So then you have to stick to the schedule. But part of the beauty is not sticking to the schedule.
I know.
Finding a random place and being, you know what, screw it. We're not going to go have lunch there. We're going to have lunch right here because this is a new place we didn't know about.
I know. It's it's hard when you're doing, and I'm sure you know about this because you do TV production schedules and stuff, and everything is on days. It's a day rate, a day this, a day that, a travel day, a work day, a home day.
Right.
There are not a lot of days. So even if I have a vacation, and even if that vacation is a road trip, I only have a certain number of days, and that number has been established. I don't. Do you get to go on? Do you ever just like, I'm just gonna go on a thing, and maybe it'll take this long, maybe that long, whatever? Are you able to do that?
No.
No,
I have a certain amount of days. I've just accepted I might not get as far as I want to go.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Like the days are still there, but if I say that I want to stay an extra day in a town because it's really cool and I want to explore more, I want to try to go with that intuition and honor that rather than saying, no, I have to get to the next spot.
Yeah. Give yourself buffer days on a vacation, I guess, if you can.
Seriously.
That's hard.
It is.
When you're, gig economy, we got to make that money.
And you want to see everything. So it's like, I did that with Hawaii and I was like, okay, so we're going to go snorkeling in the morning, then we'll go climb the volcano right after that.
Really relaxing vacation, right?
Super relaxing. No, in fact, but we didn't do all that stuff because obviously that was
not possible.
Ridiculous.
I love Hawaii, but it's a sucky place to drive cars.
Oh yeah,
so much traffic, but I've been on like 3 car launches in Hawaii.
Oh,
because it's all some East Coast based car company, and
they want to go to Hawaii.
Yeah,
of course.
We have a running joke on for Porsche, especially. Porsche is notorious for picking the most absurd, hard to get to, inconvenient places for a launch. I was just invited, actually. I can't go, unfortunately, but I was legit just invited on a Porsche launch in Bahrain. Like,
where is that?
It's in the Middle East. 18-hour flying from here.
Why did they choose that?
Because it's exotic, and some people will be like, "Oh my god!" And even I was like, "Yeah, that sounds kind of dope." But like, they did a launch in Tenerife. You know where that is?
Yeah.
It's like an island off of Africa.
Yeah, I actually do know that.
Yeah, it takes
that
30 hours to get there from anywhere.
And you're like, okay, we'll be there 24 hours only, but it took us longer.
Yeah.
Over twice as long to get there and back.
Yeah, we have a running joke that like, who's the PR person fucking in Morocco?
You're so right. Yeah, like, well, if we go there, I could go and meet up with that person.
Yeah, and Porsche, it's like I love the cars, but it's like the launches are like South Africa, Beirut. Like the end of the globe, the farthest possible places you could go.
That sounds pretty cool, though.
If you don't mind,
flying.
18 hours of flying, it's great.
Yeah.
And if you don't have a whole lot of other shit going on at home,
if you don't have anything else going on, that's the thing.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but like, I don't. An individual car review doesn't offer all that much money. So to fly for 36 hours and spend 4 days to get one car review is not a good financial model.
You're like, this is cool, but it's not a vacation. So they're
it's
trying
like
to
a vacation, except you don't want to talk to anyone there.
Right.
It's a vacation with 50 people you don't want to be on vacation
like, I don't really want to do this.
Yeah. So, you grew up in Montana.
I did.
How long did you stick around there?
I didn't.
Did you make it out of high school at least?
I did make it out of high school. I didn't get pregnant in high school. Like
congratulations. No meth as far as I know.
No, I actually I didn't stay in town. That was important. I gotta get out before it eats you alive.
What town?
Lewistown.
Where is that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's really small.
What's the nearest town I've heard of?
Billings?
And that's how far away?
Billings?
Yeah, I've heard of Billings.
Okay,
Yeah,
2 hours away.
That's 2 hours
Yeah.
from Billings?
So, I mean,
That's
here's the
funny.
whole
If you
thing.
told me you were in Billings, I'd be like, wow, she's in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, no, 2 hours from
Plus
that. You have to fly into Billings.
And then drive?
And then drive.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's not good.
It's not easy to get to, which, I guess, if you live there, it's very remote.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, I
it's
bet.
really beautiful.
Big mountains. Clean air.
Very clean air, beautiful sky, lots of stars. I mean, you can see so many stars. I mean, it's really
It's probably
beautiful.
the kind of place I'd like to drive through on a road trip.
You would enjoy that, although they have speed limit now.
Yeah.
They didn't for a time.
Is it 80 now?
I think so.
They went with the no speed limit for
They
quite a bit.
did. I know.
Was it like Scouts Honor speed limit?
Well, you could see forever. That's
Yeah.
the thing. I mean, unless you're on a mountain, I mean, when you're driving down, I mean, you can see 10, 20 miles in front. I mean, you really are like, okay, I can see that nothing's coming
Right.
for a really long time and I'm still going 70 miles an hour. Like, this feels stupid, So it was kind of like, I actually ended up getting pulled over in high school when we had the no speed limit. And my car, the officer said, was not fit for the speed I was going.
I like that.
Because
What
I
was the
said,
car?
well, there's no speed limit. He's like, yeah, do you really think that it's safe, though, for you to be driving this car that fast?
If your speed was only attained because of a tailwind and a big hill down,
Right.
ma'am, you have exceeded the top speed of this vehicle by 36 miles an hour.
Yes. And I cheering myself on.
You
no.
can't even have it in gear. You just put it in neutral and
Right.
pray.
And it's going
It
well.
keeps going faster.
It was an 86 Pontiac Bonneville.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Was it at least an SSEI?
I don't
Was
remember.
it supercharged?
I don't think so. That was my aunt's car. It's definitely not
Did it have
supercharged.
the
It was
big
a hand me
buttons on
down.
the steering wheel? All the buttons.
I can't remember the inside very well.
Dude, give me a Bonneville interior picture. Wait, was it the square one or the round one?
Square.
Oh man.
Square for sure.
Is that it? An 86?
Yeah,
That's
there
a
it is.
Bonneville?
Were you rimmed up?
No, that's a donk.
I was not
Oh,
rimmed
so
up.
an 86 Bonneville was actually basically the same as a Regal or an Oldsmobile, right? It wasn't any different.
It's very similar.
Yeah, it wasn't until the late 80s when it became its own car, right?
Oh, okay.
I think,
you know
like-
a little bit more about them.
This is my wheelhouse, late 80s.
Okay.
Give me a picture of an 89 Bonneville.
You
because
know
the
more.
80, I'm thinking of the 89.
Okay.
The 86 Bonneville is, this is the one
Okay,
I'm
no,
thinking
mine
of.
wasn't round like that.
That one's kind of rad.
That actually isn't bad. Mine was not that cool.
Bro, that Bonneville's kind of sweet. I like that one. Yeah, that one's better. That one they almost went for a little Volvo
They
thing
did.
there,
It
didn't
does
they?
look Volvo-ish.
Yeah,
Mhm.
especially at that angle with those wheels on it.
Yeah, I kind of like that.
You
mine
can
wasn't-
always get another one.
Mine was no. Mine, I beat the hell out of that car. I mean, we're in Montana. We
Yeah.
lived off a dirt road.
Wait,
And
but how fast were you going when he pulled you over in that car? Do you remember?
90 something.
Yeah, it's probably pushing in that thing.
I had my friends in the back,
Yeah,
We
yeah.
were going out to some party out in the middle of nowhere.
That's funny.
Doing nothing good.
Is that, in Montana, do you just pick a field and have a party?
That's
Is that
what
kinda
people
how
would
that
do,
works?
yeah. We
Yeah.
pick a place that you think the police are not going to find you.
Right.
And somehow
And
they always
do.
They always do.
Yeah.
I'm like, how do they know?
Yeah, they just
There
Like,
are only
we're-
so many barns and silos.
Yeah. I mean, we drive like 10 miles out of town and
I'll tell you how.
to have a party.
It's the same place they had parties.
Right. They're like, or they
Where
see the
at?
smoke
Oh, yeah.
from the bonfire that we're having. Oh, I guess
yeah.
we gave it away.
That'll do it.
Stupid
Yeah,
kids.
totally. Wow, look at that tufted.
Oh, see, I didn't have tufted, but mine had a gray interior for sure.
That's you moved up from there. Did you always have old cars though?
No, I didn't, because I had a BMW.
There's the buttons.
There it is.
I'm sorry.
Look at all that
Yes.
technology.
Yeah, Tim, pull this. Oh, you've got it up. Okay, yeah. Look at how many buttons and sliders there are.
I didn't have those. Is that the 89?
That's like an
This
87.
is an
or-
86.
Yeah.
Oh, it is? Okay.
It must be the SSE.
This must be the
must be the
the higher
special
end
one.
version.
Yeah, the buttons on the
Is
steering
that
wheel.
green with blue interior?
It's fucking ace, is what it is.
That's blue.
Thing is dope.
Yeah, it's green with blue interior.
Absolutely dope.
That's fantastic.
All those buttons to keep them working. Oh my
I
goodness.
know. And they're all
Wiring
big. They're
nightmare.
like big Fisher Price buttons
Yeah,
too.
so you can really see.
Yeah,
If you
You gotta put on big dumb Detroit steelworker
in case
thumbs.
you can't see and you're old and you need to be able to it's like the phone buttons that are really big
Yeah.
with the numbers.
Oh yeah, the big phone, the
Uh-huh.
senior
When
big phone.
Yeah, the senior phones where the buttons were huge
Yeah.
with the numbers.
You know who made those? Swatch. I
Oh.
do a podcast about watches, and we were just talking about the history of Swatch, and they made plastic phones. Yeah.
That makes sense. We don't
to-
have those anymore.
No, but I had one when I was a kid.
Anyone
actually.
young is like, we don't know what you're talking
I don't
about
know
right
what's
now.
a telephone. I was just having this conversation about the save icon on your computer is a floppy disk, and like no one knows what that is.
Like, what are we saving
and
it
like
to?
the phone call button on your car is like an old school
school
handset
phone?
from the 80s, and like 16-year-olds like, what is that? They should put a picture of an iPhone on
Right,
there.
they don't know. It's like we just need a rectangle phone because the regular phone.
It's so weird.
Yeah, it's funny.
Our iconography from the 80s is like seeping in, and no one is going to understand what that shit is.
Well, there still are landline phones in hotel rooms.
Yeah.
So
some people have landline phones.
Yeah.
My parents have a landline phone.
So I mean, some people know what some people know what they are from the hotel room. Like, oh, what
So
is this
crazy.
thing? Push buttons.
It's so crazy. I bet if you put like a 12-year-old in a hotel room, would he understand how to use that phone?
I don't know. It's
not
a little confusing, I think, for that.
Dial 9? What does that mean?
Yeah, like you can't get out. Somebody was trying to do. It's like dialing internationally. Like
Yeah.
you have to like dial 9, get out of here, or 00, get out of the country, get out of the hotel
plus
room.
+44, whatever that.
Yeah, the
plus
country
44 is
code,
England, I
or
think.
yeah, that's the country code. I think.
Yeah. So you didn't only have old cars. What else did you have besides after your Bonneville?
No, that was that, and then I think my dad got me another Pontiac car. I don't know why.
Was he a fan of the brand?
I don't know.
What did he do?
He wanted
What
it
did
to be
your pops do?
reliable. He wanted to be a reliable vehicle. So he was into cars himself. He had an El Camino when I was
cool.
growing up.
Yeah.
I remember when he pulled up in that car to pick me up. He had traded. He was always into cars. He had sports cars. I remember he had to retake his driver's license for driving too fast.
Because he lost his license?
Yeah, for speeding tickets.
Nice.
When I was a little kid, I didn't really know what that meant. We had to go to the DMV so Daddy can take his test again.
Come on, kids.
We're going to the DMV.
Did you have to drive him to the DMV?
I think my mom did. So,
What did your folks do?
they both worked in the hospital.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, my mom was a nurse. My dad was an anesthesiologist.
Oh.
So he put people to sleep
For
a living.
That always seemed like a pretty mellow job.
Yeah, right.
No pun intended, but like all the benefits of being a doctor without actually having to see as much blood, I don't think.
You don't have to do that, but you do have to make sure that you get people almost to death without killing them.
A lot of
seems,
risk there.
I think
Yeah.
that seems stressful.
Yeah, propofol's some gnarly shit.
Yeah, the thing is like growing up, then when I was drinking in high school, he's like, "You were in a stupor. I couldn't wake you up," and I was like, "I was fine, Dad."
Stupor.
No, my states of stupor are my
Come on,
specialty.
Dad. Like you don't have the drugs to wake me up. Shut up.
yeah, just give me
could
something.
wake me up if you
You
wanted.
could have if you really wanted to.
Yeah.
I was just peacefully sleeping.
The word stupor is really an insulting word for someone who's just a little drunk.
Is it?
Sleeping, isn't it? A stupor.
You're like, okay.
You're in a stupor if you're at the end of your bank account and in that state.
Yeah, it feels like it's a little insulting.
That's a stupor is not a good word.
Yeah,
I try to not use that one about my friends.
I don't think I've ever said it since then, or just only about that
Did
story.
it just occur to you how rarely you've spoken that word out loud?
I don't think I ever say it.
Right?
Like, you're in a stupor, and I was
Yeah.
like, don't say that
It's
word.
a really insulting thing to say to your daughter. Jesus. So when you railed out of Montana, then what?
Then I went to Oregon State. Well, I went to Southern Oregon first, but I went to Oregon.
Is Oregon State
Beavers.
ducks? Oh, beavers.
Yeah.
How dare you?
Different river animals.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I never thought about it like that. There are a lot of beavers in that area, actually, because when I'd go running, I'd see beavers. Have you ever seen them, like, in the wild?
They're
pretty
seen
cute.
A beaver? I've seen them certainly in zoos and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever seen a beaver wild.
They're big, fat.
They have like a fun
tail.
little face.
Yeah, they
kinda,
do have
right?
a fun little face.
Yeah.
They're
you don't
kind of
think
cool.
about the fact that they could chew through a 10-foot diameter tree.
I know.
Yeah.
They're a pretty cool animal, actually.
Yeah. I think they're really cute until they don't like you, and then they eat your femur off.
Yeah, I don't think I'd want to piss a beaver off. I mean, they have big teeth.
Yeah, huge teeth. Yeah. Crazy.
I mean, I don't think they really attack humans on the regular. They're kind of
No, I don't think so. I think you only have to worry about them if you're a tree.
right. If
Or
you're
a river.
If you're a river,
Yeah.
and you're a tree.
Fortunately, rivers and trees, not my demo.
No,
So
you're
we
good.
don't have to worry
We're
about it
good.
on this program.
We're good on that.
What was Oregon like?
Yeah, I love it on Oregon.
a
Nice
beautiful state.
people,
Yeah.
beautiful state. Rains a lot. You know, everyone, it just depends. If I like sunshine, so it does get depressing in the winter. You know, it's just gloomy and rainy for months. I mean,
Yeah.
you're going to college there, that your alarm goes off to go to your first class, and you look out, and I'm like, oh, it's raining again. Can I miss this one?
Yeah.
I don't want to get out of bed.
California, it's expensive and it's a weird place, but sunshine is free.
Yeah,
It
it's
is
beautiful.
totally free.
It's beautiful.
The effect on your mood from sunshine sunshine is amazing.
Although it is nice to have weather. Like, I like going back and forth to Chicago a little bit because I get a little bit of that, see the storm clouds roll in or thing. And
But
I'm like,
then you
ooh.
like to leave.
And then I like to leave and come to the sunshine.
I know how that
I
works.
actually am really glad to be done. It's nice to come home.
Yeah.
I just got back last night.
Oh,
so,
really?
Yeah.
From shooting? Mm-hmm. Is it from season 5?
Yep, we just wrapped it up.
Wow. How many episodes?
10 episodes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Tell me about the show.
So Garage Squad is a show for mechanics at home. The whole thing is inspiring mechanics who regular people / car enthusiast / home mechanic, who has a classic car sitting in their garage for maybe 5, 10, 20. We got
The
40 years.
project
we worked.
cars?
Yeah, project cars. Sometimes they haven't been a project car for a really long time, so they're just sitting there collecting dust. So what we do is we're like a band of gypsies. We come and set up shop in their garage, in the owner's garage, unload the van with all the tools, come and set it up, and then we have 1 week to get the car done.
Oh, so it's basically like a overhaul and delivery service. Ish, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure how to take that.
Well, no, I know. I'm just like so would the spouse of the owner of this car kind of try and get you in as a surprise for the owner?
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes it's the owner. Sometimes it's a spouse or a friend. We look for people who the car's doable in a week. First of all, has to be doable.
Yeah. So you can't be just like a rusted out disaster.
Yeah,
right?
we can't have that. We do paint some of them, not
Right.
every build, because it takes that eats up so many of our days prepping for the paint.
Yeah, there's a day prep and then a day for it to dry.
Sometimes 2 days of prep, especially if we have to get body panels, then we have to prep all those. It really eats into the time. So it just depends. Every build's a little bit different, even though it's, the same kind of stuff, but we work on a variety of cars. And then we test drive them at the end, and the owner test drive it. We reveal it to the friends and family. And yeah.
What level of work will you do? Will you put an entirely new engine in a car?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, nice. Wow.
Yeah, so it depends with the condition of the engine. Like sometimes we've worked on cars where they didn't have one, or it was just in such bad condition we had to source a new engine, transmission. Everything.
That's all. So do you guys know more or less what you might need before you get there?
I don't know anything about. It's first time that I see the car. It's first time that most of us have seen the car. We have pictures of the vehicle.
You still have to discover the car and decide that you need an engine, and then get that engine within a week. And it's a real week, or it's a TV week?
Well, it depends if we have a weekend. Right, so sometimes we have a weekend, which really helps. That's important. Usually there's a weekend because it's 5 days of work. We'll have a little, an extra weekend. But that's important because we're filming this on camera, so it's not like, you got to get everything done on camera.
I know.
Sometimes it's reveal day, the day that we're going to reveal it, and we are literally still like, we haven't started this thing and gotten it started yet.
Yeah.
And we're like stressing out. It can be very stressful at times. It's a lot of fun though. The owners work with us in the garage. Sometimes their wife or girlfriend will work with us. We actually have a farm girl that we work on her 78 Chevy 4x4 pickup truck this year, and that was super cool, and it was really fun. She was just ready to get dirty and do anything that needed to be done with the truck, and so we had a lot of fun, but we actually had to replace the bed of the truck with a different bed of the truck because it was just trash.
Rusted,
and she had it. So she had an extra bed.
We're going to need a new bed. Oh, don't you worry about that. We got one right here.
Yeah, because she had it. Yeah, she was like collecting parts and stuff and getting ready for, to get her truck done. And so she had some of the pieces that we needed, which was very helpful.
Yeah. Finding a bed, for like a 75 Chevy
But you'll be
step-side.
surprised. The guys are really resourceful. They'll go to, they'll go to junkyards. They'll call friends for parts. They come from all over the place. When, I think Joe took a fender off he had a fender for his grandfather's pickup truck or something that he used for that Chevy. It's just like whatever we can get.
Hey!
He's like, yeah, you don't need it. You don't need it, Grandpa.
I need that.
He's like, you haven't driven it.
Was that a good Abe Simpson? I was really going for an Abe Simpson.
Was that what that?
Yeah, Homer Simpson's dad. That's what I was going for there.
That was actually pretty good.
Right? In hindsight, it was okay.
Once explained.
Yeah.
It was.
It's a great joke when you explain what you were doing.
It was a grandfather, though.
Yes, it was certainly a grandfather. Is that the truck?
That's a
different one. That's from
the
the previous season. We haven't seen this one yet.
Oh, okay, cool.
You haven't. This one hasn't come out. It comes out in 2 weeks.
That's a lovely little black Chevy.
That was fun too. Yeah, that was a good one.
I like that one.
I didn't get to.
That one's
ride
got kind of a funky little lift kit going on there too. Is it a bit like canted up at the front, like a little pre-runner style, or is that just the angle?
I
of the
think
picture?
that's just the angle, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. But
It's a dope looking little truck though.
that episode, man, I just that's bringing back memories. I'm like, oh, it was so hot that.
Yeah, I know. I know exactly how you feel. You show some episode and be like, that episode was really good. I was like, all I can think about is like how much I was sweating
Yeah,
underneath that.
it was brutal on that one. And some of the episodes that was like 100 degrees, 100% humidity. I think one of the crew passed out,
really?
just standing there. Yeah.
Bummer. Yeah. What's some of your favorite stuff to work on the show?
Oh God.
Mustangs. I mean, you got.
No, I mean, it doesn't mean that's my favorite thing because that's fun. But I like learning new stuff every time. Like we worked on a Corvette, 75 Corvette. That was really fun.
Yeah.
And I had never, because for me, I'm getting introduced to these cars I haven't ever even thought about before, and I got to drive that, and I was like, oh yeah, Corvette, that's cool. And then I drove it, and I was like, oh, this is really fun.
Yeah,
like
neat, right?
I get it now.
Did they at least put some actual power in it? 75 was not a prime year for Corvettes.
Yep, that's the picture. Yeah,
no, that's a 65.
That picture with me was it though?
The picture with Heather in it.
Yeah.
That's it. Yep.
We can see you.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Is it a cop's car? Is that what the badge is about?
It was. Yeah, he gave me a badge to drive the car, and Bruno got in and put a helmet on because he was scared. The other host, but it was a bike helmet he was wearing.
Those cars. What did you like about that 75?
I liked how you sit in it. Mm-hmm. Because I hadn't driven a Corvette at all before.
The low leaned back
just
position?
how I could sit, how I sat in the seat and just could see perfectly out the windshield, and it just fit really well. I just fit in it really well, and I hadn't driven anything like that. So for me, it's about discovering things I like along the way, and that's what this. I mean, this is my 4th season.
Yeah.
So for me, every time we work on a new car, I'm like, oh, I've never driven in that car before. I can't wait to get in and see what it's about, because it's one thing to like the look, but really that's only part of it. It's really how do they drive? How does it feel to drive it? How does it feel to sit in it? Do you want and that's
what
right.
that's what my job is. My job is only that.
I don't need to tell you that.
No, you don't have to tell me, but I'm glad that you are looking for the same things that I look for.
Yeah.
I don't have to spend a week under the fucking car to do it though.
Right.
It just shows up and I get in and then I go and
it works.
And it usually works. Sometimes it doesn't, but usually it does.
I think maybe we appreciate it even a little more then.
You probably do.
Because we've worked on it. So
do.
I've seen it. Sometimes when we open the garage door and we see the car, I'm like, oh no, let's just go. We don't want to do this one.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all apart.
What's like the worst? What's one where you actually did really want to just go, oh, this is not worthwhile?
Oh, the Studebaker this year that's coming out. Man, that thing was in pieces.
Like
I mean,
an Avanti or like one from the 50s?
It was a 59 Studebaker Scotsman.
Scotsman? I don't know if I can remember. Can you find out what does the Scotsman look like?
It's kind of like the bare bones Studebaker truck. And
it's a truck.
Yeah, it's a truck. And
okay.
here's the cool part. The owner was Scott Studebaker.
Oh.
And he was an 8th generation Studebaker.
Wait, so
yes,
I'm sorry, hold on.
I know.
Are you telling me the Studebaker Scotsman was driven by Scott Studebaker?
Yes, and it was a 59 Studebaker Scotsman, and his birthday, Scott Studebaker, was born in 59.
Holy shit.
Yeah. It was.
Yeah, you better get that one right. We'll align the whole universe. I think we found a new center for Back to the Future 5 for the space-time continuum.
I know. When they told me that, I was like,
truck.
wait a second here. I did the same thing as you. I'm like, is that for real? Is that possible?
Yeah.
But they were looking for that truck. They were searching for that and finally found it. Yeah, they're cool looking.
Studebakers always have. What is happening with Studebakers always have a really interesting style. I think it's called the Firehawk. Is that correct?
I don't know.
I think it's called. I think it's in the 50s. A Studebaker Firehawk President, I think was the name of it. It's the really kind of aerodynamic, almost avian looking. I think is it Firehawk? Is that correct? Yeah. What's in the middle there? The middle, that center. I mean, that's modified.
Oh wow!
Like that. That's a race car, but that's sort of the overall.
I hadn't seen that before.
Yeah, the Studebaker coupes from the 50s are really rad. Yeah,
that's cool looking.
And they race them a lot in La Carrera Pan America, that race down in Mexico. Yeah, like vintage race type cars they're really neat looking.
Yeah, that's real cool.
Is it hard
that's
to
the thing
get
that's
parts
fun.
for a 59 Studebaker?
Yes, it is.
It's gotta be right.
Yeah.
Where do you look?
I don't know.
Not my job.
I didn't actually look for any of the Studebaker parts, so I didn't have to worry about that. Sometimes when we put together parts lists and order them, I help put together those. But with the Studebaker, they were sourcing different things. I think the engine, his engine. We didn't have to source that. He was good.
They just put in a 350 and called it a day?
We had his original engine.
Oh,
and, yeah,
there you go.
and we got it running again. We didn't
Okay.
want to replace it if we could get it running. Obviously,
Right,
that's
yeah.
important. You know, keep
Yeah,
it as much
numbers
original.
matching
yeah.
is good if you've got it. If you can make it
Exactly.
happen, for sure.
If you can keep it going with it, then keep it going.
definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, Tim, the second row all the way on the left. That's the stock. That's the stock one. What is that called? Golden Hawk.
Oh, that's
not
cool.
Firehawk.
Golden
Hawk, and it's a rad looking.
Yeah,
car.
look at that. Oh my
Terrible
God, that's
picture.
awesome.
But I mean, imagine think about a Las Vegas valet is what
Yeah.
you think, or Palm Springs.
Totally,
Right?
totally Palm Springs, especially
Totally
with the
Palm-
blue and white like
yeah.
that.
Two-tone. It's
I
hot.
think I saw that car now that I know what it is.
Yeah.
I think I saw one in Pasadena driving around and was wondering, and I couldn't.
They're
I was in my
very
car
cool.
trying to you ever try to get close to the car to see what kind of car is this? I need to figure it out.
Very cool and undervalued, not particularly expensive. I mean, I don't know if they're reliable or I don't really know
Right.
anything about them besides how they. And look at the gold one in the middle. In gold, it
wow.
really works. I can't remember. There's the name of a movie.
Look at that.
Right? It's
Yeah.
just it's like too
That's cool.
it's too weird to even be real.
Well,
There's
it's
some
kind of like a
movie with-
truck and a car. It's a little bit of a truck car look, even though it's not.
Yeah, I
right?
mean, it
It's-
looks like if it had a pickup truck bed, that would work.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
A Studebaker El Camino would be
It's
sweet.
kind of a Studebaker El Camino looking car.
Yeah. I'm just glad it wasn't an Avanti. Actually, I'm being mean. Avantis are all right.
Yeah,
the
that's a
real
cool
ones,
thing.
the Studebaker Avantis are cool. I love these Golden Hawks though. The wires on that one look so fire. What do you think?
Wow.
56 Studebaker Golden Hawk or 56 Continental Series 2
Yeah.
Lincoln?
Why don't you pull that up for us?
You know I got Continental. Do you know about the Continental? They're fire.
Yeah.
They're so
Yeah.
nice. And
We
they've
worked on a
softened
Lincoln
little bit.
Continental, but it was in the 70s, I think.
Was it like 38 feet
It was
long?
so
Like a
long.
Mark
It
5 or
was
something?
so long, yeah. It was such a boat.
Yeah.
I mean, we all piled in. It was a convertible,
You would
too.
all stand around the engine in the engine.
Seriously. Yeah. Yeah. It was the biggest.
Lincoln. It's so big.
That one doesn't even look as long right there.
That's because it's taken with a good lens.
Yeah,
If you were
because-
standing next to it, you'd be like, where's
I mean,
the
we
other
had
thing?
everybody on the show. So the mechanics it's myself, Joe, and Bruno.
Yeah.
And then we have 3 mechanics, Ronnie, Cy, and Kingster. And we all 6 of us got in the
Yeah.
car. There's plenty of room, you know?
You know, in the 70s, going 3 across was totally chill.
Yeah.
That's not a thing people really do anymore
No.
unless you're like a gardener or a mover.
It's weird, isn't it? Like people are like, we don't want to be that close to each
now
other.
it's all about now it's all bucket seats and your private little cocoon, right?
Yeah, you want to have a little bit of room. You need to be able to plug your phone in. You need to have
Yeah.
your whole little portable station.
I think the last gen Toyota Avalon was the last car to be available with a front bench.
with a bench.
And
Yeah.
when was that? What year?
I mean, it was like 5 or 6 years ago,
Oh, okay.
probably. Yeah, it was more recent than you
But
think.
that's it.
That was it.
That's it. There's no
Pickup
more
trucks.
bench.
The rest is
yeah,
pickup trucks.
yeah.
Very basic entry level pickup
Yeah.
trucks. Yeah.
And that was the thing in Montana, though. Everybody had pickup trucks, and then you knew if they were a couple when they were cruising down Main Street because
she
knew
said
over.
100%.
Yeah, and
That's
then
what
you're
I was
like,
waiting to say.
That's the one thing I can't do, and is that snuggle
yeah, and that was
Why
like.
not?
because I don't have a bench.
Oh, I got it.
He doesn't either have the bench or the
No,
girl. I don't know.
do have the girl
Okay,
actually.
okay,
Believe
good.
it or not, I know it's hard to believe, but I actually do have the girl.
The Vector kind of had a bench.
Oh, that's fucking true.
That three-seater.
Tim Whitcomb, give me a Vector W8 interior. Had a bench 3 across and a shifter on the left.
Oh,
Yeah, it was weird.
on the left.
Not on the left on the column.
not on the
On
column.
the left in the doorsill.
Okay, that's super
So,
weird.
Do you know what about the Vector? You know
No.
okay, pull up the
I'm
exterior
learning
first,
all
Tim, in
kinds
the
of
center.
things. It's great.
Vector was a very bizarre supercar that was came up with created by a guy named Jerry Wiegert in the 1980s, and it was almost this phantom story where it took forever to get this thing built. You know, I think from the time he showed
Oh.
the car until the time he actually delivered one, it was 10 or 12 years. It was a long time.
My goodness.
Yeah, and this was the W8, and this thing is pretty crazy looking,
So,
right?
but that has a bench seat in the
Yes,
front?
it does.
That doesn't look like it would have that from the outside, right?
Pull up the interior. It does, my friend.
That's
100%. Because
Well,
why?
Yeah, why?
Because you could have, excuse my French, 2 bitches.
I thought you were going to say that.
And look, here it is. 3 across.
Where's
Wait,
that
get it. I
Wait,
can't
no,
see it.
up. Left. Up. Oh, that one has the buckets.
Yeah,
There's one that had the bench. But if
I
you
want to see the bench.
the bench and then the the shifter is in the door sill to the left of the driver.
And why did they do that rather than putting it up like on the column or something?
I don't think it's very supercar-y to put it in the column.
Yeah, it's not.
The shifter is, first off, automatic. That stupid thing.
Oh, I thought it was okay.
Oh,
So I
there it
thought
is.
you were left
That's
shifting.
It. Is the Avtech one had the
Okay.
bench. Yeah, there it is. That's the one. It's got a bench. Look at that thing. It's like a love seat.
So
Isn't that wild?
random.
So look at the bottom of that left of that image.
Yeah, okay,
The
I
shifter
see.
almost looks like a fighter pilot throttle.
So it's not like it's a manual
No,
up there.
no.
Because that
So-
would be super weird. Then you have to learn how to.
Right, shift with your left hand. Well,
that'd be
English
fine.
drivers would know
Yeah.
how to do it. But so get this, the powertrain on that thing is hilarious. They took the old school 70s Oldsmobile Toronado. It's either a 427 or a 455 or it's a big
Wow.
block motor.
Yeah.
Fuel injection, twin turbos, 3-speed automatic.
Wait.
Yeah.
What? Wait a second.
For real.
Why?
Because they're stupid.
Yeah, that doesn't even make any sense.
They sold, I think 18 of them.
I was about to say, how long was that car on the market?
Oh, 6 months, and they sold 18 of them. And then he tried to do a second gen version. The second top left picture is the second gen version, which was called the Avek Prototype, and became so. This is a second generation bodywork with the same powertrain, and that powertrain they couldn't get it to work right, so they took this body and put it on top of a Lamborghini Diablo. And the second gen cars were normal V12 manuals with a Lamborghini engine.
And so that still didn't do well, though?
They sold like 3.
What year is this that we're talking
The
about?
first Vector was like 89.
I can tell that
maybe,
was 80s,
90,
and then this one they tried to like 90 something.
Yeah, 96 maybe.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
96. Look up
The first one was clearly an 80s car.
I think it's called the M12, Vector M12. The first one is mega 80s. Yeah, there's the M12. That's the one with the Lamborghini engine in it, the production version.
Okay.
Yeah. Not you can actually if you look
That just
carefully
looks
wonky.
Yeah,
really
like
wonky.
look at that. I don't even know. It's like
all out of balance.
It's like it should be on the moon or something.
Yeah,
like
it's almost like you just tried to rebody a Diablo. It's wonky as hell. But the dude who designed that lives in Los Angeles and owns the WX3 prototype with the bench and brings it to Cars and Coffee all the fucking time.
Oh, really?
All the time. That picture is probably from Cars and Coffee.
Right.
Yeah, dude, that picture's from Supercar Sunday in Topanga.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun.
And they're for sale as a pair. Can you just Google Vector auction for sale?
How much are they for sale for?
Get this. Take a guess. What would you
Let's
pay?
see. Well, it's not what I would pay, or it's what he thinks it's worth, right?
Yeah, what do you think? Oh boy.
Well, there aren't very many of them,
I know
right?
there's not a lot. So there's
so it's
two.
gonna be so
one
there's
is
two.
one has no roof. One is a spider, and one has a roof. They're the prototypes, and they've only ever been owned by this
so
dude.
10 million.
He wants 3.5 for both.
Okay. I shot high.
Here's it is. Vector Motors, from thedrive.com, who I write for. Scroll down. Vector Motors selling the prototypes. There's the
there it is.
WX3.
Okay.
Yep, and there's probably a picture of the Spider as well.
There
Here
it is.
Yep. And they want $3.5 million for the pair, and they'll never get it.
No.
and the point is to use that money to fund a new car, which is never going to happen.
Well, wait a second.
That's what the new car looks like. It's horrible.
So the person who designed the other ones wants to try again. Didn't
Yeah.
learn.
Round 3, bro.
Sometimes you just gotta just stop.
Yeah, or get a job at Hennessy or something. What are you doing? I don't know what the fuck you're doing.
Just totally switch careers.
Something, right? Crazy.
Well, some people just think like, oh, I didn't get it right, and I'll just keep going.
Yeah.
Someday my vision
isn't
is
that
gonna
like the American mantra though? If
Yeah.
at first you don't succeed,
try again.
burn $3.5 million more
Yeah,
dollars.
yeah. Just keep spending money, and some people will believe in you.
Yeah.
You just need a couple people who are like, yeah, I thought it was a great car, and they're like, oh, see, some people like it.
You know, they did some real funky product placement. Do you remember the movie Rising Sun with Wesley Snipes and Sean Connery? It's based on like a Michael Crichton book from the 80s.
I don't
It's kind
know.
of a neat movie actually, but they had one in a
they
there's a
did?
chase with one. Yeah, that ends in a crash and explosion.
I learned early on, or I learned on the Jay Leno when we did movie car trivia, that I
did
do
you do his
not
game
know
show?
anything about movie cars. I did terrible. I'm like, also all of the movies were like from the like 50s and
Yeah.
60s and like
Shit he watched when he was a
yes,
kid. Yeah.
yes, and we were none of us were that age of Jay,
Yeah.
and we were like, we don't know any of this.
Did you do his game show? and
Yeah,
his
it was
thing?
the game show.
I did it too.
Oh, you did?
The
How
set-
did you do?
I don't want to give it away because I don't
'cause
think
you-
it's
okay.
aired yet.
Oh, okay. Mine
I don't-
already aired,
Did
so
it?
I
Did you
well,
win? How'd you do?
No.
No?
Our team. The
Who
other.
was your partner?
Well, here's the unfortunate part is like you weren't supposed. We actually almost got a point, but he couldn't believe that the other team didn't guess the Batmobile, and we were ready, because they didn't
Yeah.
get it, and we were ready. And then Jay goes, He was so frustrated with the
mad.
other team that he's like, "It's the Batmobile." And we're like, "No, we knew that. We were going to get a point." Now we have 0
Jay
points.
is not a great game show host. He gives away the answers.
Yeah, we're like, "No, we knew
dude,
that."
Dude, I was trying to get that point.
Yeah, we was 0 to 1, so you could see how well we did there.
But wasn't his game show set impressive?
Yeah, it really was actually.
Is there an image of Jay Leno's game show set in his garage? When I walked in there, they invited me to do it, and I was like, holy shit, you guys aren't fucking around. I
Yeah.
thought this was a goof.
No,
Like,
it was
for
real. They had the lights coming all around. It was
Yeah.
like, it was legit.
Yeah. Is that it? Yeah, is that it? No. Never mind.
No.
Never mind. Try Googling.
I had a picture
Leno and
somewhere of
show
it,
is
but-
going to come up with a bunch of disasters.
Yeah, it was really cool actually. It was fun. I had a lot of fun.
Who was your partner for the game show?
Justin Bell.
Oh, I love Justin.
Yeah. So he
is
was great.
lovely.
Yeah, he is.
Yes.
I would just give him blank stares, like I have no idea.
Yeah, he's a
like,
good
I don't know
dude.
either.
Good dude, good host, good
Yeah,
driver.
he's really
Has
great.
he been on the fucking show? If we had Justin on,
You need to.
if we haven't, that's a major oversight.
Yeah, you need to get him
yeah,
on.
and especially because he's local.
Yeah.
and the son of the legendary Derek Bell.
Oh yeah.
Do you not know who Derek Bell is?
I didn't know any of that.
Derek
I just
Bell
knew he was
is
cool. I just knew Justin
Derek
was
Bell
cool.
was like a legendary Le Mans driver.
Oh, I
in
did
the
know that
70s.
because I was talking to him. Yeah, you're right.
yeah,
I did know
yeah.
that because he
Yeah.
does Le Mans too, and yeah, he was
Justin
telling me about
Justin is amazing. Derek is like,
Yeah.
is like holy almost.
that. He had
Yeah,
to like
it's
follow
a-
in those footsteps.
Derek just survived that era. He came away from that era with trophies, but it's more like if you're still fucking alive and you were racing then, you're a
It's
legend.
amazing, right.
Have you seen all the documentaries about
It's crazy.
all the racing in the 60s and 70s and how fucking dangerous it was?
So dangerous.
There's something that's being shown on like Delta flights now. It's called I think it's called Ferrari Race to the Afterlife, which is
Wow.
super morbid.
Yeah,
Is
seriously.
that actually what it's called? I don't want to race to immortality. I'm sorry.
Afterlife or immortality. I mean,
it's
you
kinda
can go
the-
either way.
It's kind of the same thing.
It's gonna go.
Yeah, and I feel it's really bad. It's about Race to Immortality. It's called, and it's really just about all the Ferrari drivers that died over like a 10-year period, and how little Enzo Ferrari gave a shit.
Wow. I mean, the risk was just super high. I mean, it
Crazy.
was like if you were going to do it, you would. I wonder what the percentage chance of like, okay, 50% of
Oh
people
no, Jackie
make it.
Stewart did that math once. He said
Okay.
every weekend you went out to do a race, you had like a 20% chance of dying.
Wow.
It was so
That's pretty high.
Yeah, no, it
Yeah.
was crazy.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
You're like, kiss your wife and kids because you might not be coming back. But
Yeah.
if you do, you're going to make some money.
Yeah. Well, that's Enzo Ferrari's sort of attitude was that's where the immortality comes from. It was you're either going to be a champion and you will be immortal, or you will die trying and you will be immortal.
God, it's
Isn't that
kind of
crazy?
like, yeah, back in I don't know. I want to say like Gladiator. It's kind of
Yeah,
like,
no, totally.
You know, right? You
Yes,
know,
it's 100%.
Like we don't really care if you die or not, but the
No.
show's going to be amazing.
I will be entertained.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and you'll do it for the glory of the brand, and it is really some
Wow.
macho gladiator shit.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
And there's that documentary, and then have you seen the one, the number one?
No, I have to watch
it's
some of
not-
these.
It's called One. Just the number one is the name of it.
Right.
And it is the most fantastic racing documentary I have ever
Oh,
seen.
I'll definitely
except
check it out.
for Senna, which if you've seen Senna is incredible as well.
I got some racing documentaries.
Those
to
are my
watch.
three. The Ferrari in Race to Immortality, One, and Senna are my
Okay.
three favorite racing films.
Perfect.
I recommend all of them very heavily. I've watched One like probably 50 times. I've watched it so
Wow.
many times. Michael Fassbender
There it is.
narrates it.
Oh, does he?
Yes, and it is
True story of drivers who risked their lives change the sport forever.
Yeah, to me, like the documentary, like it really needs good pacing and like good energy, and that documentary has a really well-crafted flow of energy.
Yeah.
So the show, you got what, 5 hosts of that show? Is it 3 hosts and 3 mechanics?
3 mechanics.
So are you not wrenching on this?
I am. We are still wrenching.
You are?
The mechanics help with a lot of the work, and they're on camera as well. But Bruno, Joe, and I are the main hosts, and Joe's the designer of most of the builds.
Right. So how far into the custom world do you go? Is it more restore or more pro touring or more modernize it a little bit? What do people like?
I guess it just kind of depends on what vehicle we're working on. I mean, really, because every build is different. But usually we're not trying to really modernize it. We're trying to get it. It's a rescue.
Right.
So we're not doing $100,000 build.
Right. Okay.
We don't
So
have
it's
time
not
to do that
overhauling.
either. No,
Yeah.
it's not. So we're not overhauling. It's not. This is why it's aspirational for people who have project cars in their garage, because it's something they actually could get out and do.
Right. I guess you're showing that like with enough energy, you could get this thing going,
Gather your friends around.
yeah,
and
yeah.
I mean, you need friends anyway when you're working on a car if you're going to take on a project like that, because a lot of it's problem solving.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, this isn't working. Why? Okay, let's try to figure out what's going on. And for me, at least when I'm problem solving, I like to have someone else to, spitball the ideas with, like,
Yeah.
oh,
Does
no,
this
that's
sound
not
stupid?
it. Yeah. Does this make any sense? Should we take this apart? Or no, don't do that. And so a lot of it's problem solving. And I think for people watching the show, that, they see us solve problems on camera too. And it's like, oh, that's what's going on with my car. Or I can get to that point and now I feel like I can get past that.
It's so funny. I always watch the shows that have elements of that. For me, it's more about like I watch a lot of cooking shows. Like I love food and I watch a lot of cooking shows, and I always feel like I'm learning something while I'm watching it, and then it just goes.
You don't remember it
The second I turn it off.
Yeah.
Well,
then you're not putting it into use probably
I know,
right
yeah.
away.
I mean,
So
it doesn't mean like if I want to cook, like I will Google like how to make whatever, and that. But it's wow, I just sailed that. It's sorry. It's, I guess, inspirational. It really is the word.
Yeah.
More so than specifically educational.
Right. We're not a how-to show.
No,
We're not going like, remember the cooking shows when they were how-to shows?
Actually, I kind of miss some of that.
Yeah. When it's like, now you do this, now you do that.
I like the cooking competitions are fun, and diners, drive-ins, and dives is fun, and Bourdain did a great job with what he was doing. But a little bit, I do miss like old school cooking shows.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Emerald. Doing his thing. Like, I kind of miss that stuff.
Yeah. It's fun if you want to learn. That's for really learning how to cook and not just being entertained, right? So I don't. Maybe people today want to be more just entertained in things with a little bit of knowledge.
I noticed some of your stuff has a wine focus. Are you a trained sommelier?
Yeah.
Oh, you are?
I did level 1.
Oh, cool. Like you did like the test?
Yeah.
How many levels are there?
Well, the next one is advanced, and then you go to master. I believe
the documentary
3.
Somm is about the master one, right? That shit is crazy.
They are crazy.
That's
I mean, you have to
crazy.
live and breathe wine at all times, and your poor liver at that point.
Oh my god, I love wine. I don't know a whole lot about wine. This tastes good, this doesn't taste good, whatever. And I don't really focus on price much. It's just like if it tastes good, it's great.
Right.
But like the knowledge that these people
Oh my God,
have.
it's incredible.
So what do you learn in the level 1?
So, you really learn a lot in a very short amount of time. I underestimated the amount of I'm just like, it'll be fine. I can kind of cram for it a little bit. No. You need to know a lot.
Yeah.
But really, you really get a good overview of the wine regions in the world, right? So you can start to understand when you're staring at a shelf of wine in the store, what it's going to mean if it's going to be an Italian bottle versus, let's say, an American bottle.
Right.
First of all, there's a very big distinction between European and American, and that's important. And that's just, so you start to learn the basics to distinguish what kind of wine you're going to want to order, with different food, and what kind of be a nice bottle to bring to your friends to the party and things like that. And for me, I also have an event company here in LA, and we do a lot of bar stuff. And I really just wanted to beef up my knowledge of like, what are the types of things that we're going to want to serve? What can I recommend to people in those instances? And I just like drinking wine too.
Yeah, me too, for sure. But so it does serve you professionally somewhat.
Yeah,
What's your
it
event
does.
company?
It
Plug
does.
that.
It's called Black Lab, and we specialize in bars.
So what you do, like a pop-up bar for an event? If you needed that
if people
kind of thing?
have events, they have weddings, corporate events,
cool.
Anything that they pretty much, 40th birthday parties, at people's houses, we do all kinds of stuff, but we'll do specialty stuff like snow cone, alcoholic snow cones,
fun.
and, like margarita bars where you muddle your own, and just basically anything you can think of.
Neat.
Giant ice carved luges that you pour shots down for people. And
I'm a
stuff.
fan of an ice luge.
Yeah.
You know what? The thing about an ice luge, though, got to be the first one in.
I know,
You've
right?
gotta be-
It's.
Were you with us on New Year's last year, Timmy? We went to James Beach for New Year's.
No.
We went to a local place for New Year's.
I know James Beach.
You know James
yeah.
Beach?
Mm-hmm.
I like it because it's walking distance.
Yeah.
I was like, what is the
That's
one,
important.
What's the one thing I don't
Especially
want to
on
do
New
on
Year's.
New Year's?
Be in traffic.
Take a $200 Uber to Hollywood.
And then you can't get there. You're in traffic. It costs a fortune.
Dude, last year we went to Hollywood for fucking New Year's, and when I was trying to get home at 2:00 in the morning, guess what? 8x surge, bro.
Oh yeah, and you'll wait an hour for that Uber too.
Dude, it was like it was a Suburban, and it was like 6 of us, and I'm a nice guy, so I bought. It was $300.
Oh my god!
And I
So
was
you went
like,
from Hollywood back to Venice area,
dude, the
That's
Uber
crazy.
home last year paid for me and my girls' ticket and open bar at the whole event at the walking distance place this year.
Right.
But the point is, they had an ice luge,
Yeah.
and the point of that was we got there first, and we
Yeah.
were like, "Oh shit, this party's like not popping off yet." Ice luge that no one's touched. Let's go. Because after an hour or two, you really got to worry about the herp.
Yeah,
Well,
you get
drunk
you
people-
get a few mouths on them.
Drunk people don't realize that they just start getting all on. They don't want to lose any of the alcohol, so they start slurping on it. And that's kind of gross.
It's super gross.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. We don't encourage people to put their mouth on the ice luge. You're supposed to just
Air catch.
yeah, you got to be good at it, just like with water,
Someone should invent like a disposable
nipple.
mouth nipple for ice luge.
Slide that on. Probably wouldn't be hard to.
Right?
You wouldn't want to necessarily use a
dis-
condom, but it's kind of like that almost.
Like a dental
you could just put that on there. Like,
Hammock that catches it.
Put it on there. That's kind of
Jesus,
gross.
we've really veered into the
yeah,
weeds here. Do they make those really like a real complex one? Looks like a bobsled luge?
Yeah, because you can have like people are ice sculptors who will sculpt whatever type you want.
Yeah.
And they can get pretty bizarre.
Yeah.
But
It's the craziest ice luge someone's ever asked for, if you can recall.
there was some woman's body one.
Really?
Yeah. So
Where did you put your
that
mouth?
That gets weird.
Wait, did you put...
Well, I didn't use it.
No, but where would the royal you put their mouth to
Yeah.
take the shot? I'm asking a real question here. Where'd it go? Is that like an ass crack ice luge? Is that what's happening?
It was, yeah.
Really?
It was.
That's why she didn't answer.
I was like, do you really want to know?
Yes. 100%.
Now, some people would love that.
100%.
There's a lot of butt lovers out there.
That's so fucking rad.
Let me see if I can get an image.
So with the, is it in your greatest hits section of your website?
Yeah, we didn't advertise that one.
With the sommelier thing, at the level 1, do you do the tasting identifying, or is that only at the crazy master level too?
You don't have to do it at the first initial level. You do it at the next one. Yeah. Where you have to identify, it's literally you have to identify the region it came from, the grape, the year, and the area. I mean,
fucking crazy.
It's scary.
So crazy. Just from a taste.
I know, but you do get more used to it, and that's the whole idea of continuing to understand like the different grapes. I mean, I've learned so much since that course, just going out and tasting wine now, and I love going wine tasting like in San Ynez Valley, going up there and just going to various different wineries because it's beautiful.
I'm going to Napa in November. I'll have to get a list from you.
And Napa,
Would you
it's
make a list for
amazing.
me of
Absolutely,
suggestions?
yeah.
You know where I went last year, and I had the best wine I think I've ever had in my life? South Africa.
Oh, yeah.
Cape Town.
They're known for having some good
was
wine.
incredible.
That's amazing.
Incredible. The wine was so good, and it was so cheap. It was like the best bottle in the whole city was like $100.
See, that's fun. It's good that you say that because I think people think you have to spend a lot of money in order to get a good bottle of wine.
But the tariff shipping it home was a real problem. I sucked it up and sent one case home because it was so good, but it like tripled the price to send it home.
Yeah,
It's why
I
you
bet.
can't get anywhere else. Every restaurant I go to, I'm looking for South Africa. and
They don't
no
have it.
one's got it.
Because it costs so much to get it over
Crazy
here that
to ship
people
it out.
don't want to spend that much money. It makes
But
the
if you're
bottle
there,
unaffordable.
Just drink it all. It's so
I
good.
definitely will.
Stellenbosch is the region. It's
Stellenbosch.
called Stellenbosch, north
I
of
can
Cape
remember that.
Town. It's approximately the same latitude as Sonoma,
Mm-hmm.
and it has a mountainous area and a valley, and the weather is spectacular and it's beautiful, and there's vineyards and food, and it's just the best.
Sounds
Yeah.
lovely.
Shout out to Cape Town.
I'm getting
Do they
thirsty.
have water yet in Cape Town? You want a shot of some Four Roses shit? Did you at the level 1 though? Can you if I put something in front of you, could you guess the varietal?
Most likely.
Probably.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. What do you think? Just one last wine question. What's your Whole Foods wine section? What's like the best like $20 bottle of red wine you think I could buy like at a grocery store in California? Because that's where I buy a lot of my wine at fucking grocery stores here.
Yeah, I do too, and they don't really have the best.
They don't.
You
but
know, I mean, Whole Foods actually has a decent selection. I don't like selections really at Ralph's and Vaughn's very much.
No.
I go in
Super
there.
commercial.
It's so commercial,
Yeah.
and they're just a lot of wineries. You have to be careful because as soon as like a big company buys them, they'll still have the name, but they'll get they're bought. For instance,
happens with beers all the time too.
Maomi wine that happened with, they were, small, and their wine was really good like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And there was a bottle that I really liked. And then I don't know, a couple years ago had one and I was like, this doesn't taste either. I've just became more of a wine connoisseur than I know. And then I asked them and they said, oh no, they were bought by somebody, so it's not even the same wine anymore. And so if you ever come across that, where you're like, I thought this bottle was good, that may have happened. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what I would recommend right off the top of my head, and
I'll throw it out
come
and
back
tell
to
me
you.
if you've heard of it. There's a bottle I like, a company I like called Force of Nature. Have you seen them?
No, I like the name though.
I like the company. I like the wines a lot, and their label art is spectacular.
You know what? And it does make a difference, doesn't it?
Totally.
I like.
That's how I buy a bottle.
I know. I like how
I'm
the
not gonna
labels have
pretend that's-
changed.
Yeah,
Like-
labels are fun now.
They are. They're not like this stuffiness anymore.
No.
Like a whole new generation of wine has come out where young people are making wine. They want cool artsy labels. There's one out of Oregon
Force of
called
Nature, the father owned a vineyard, and the son came up with the brand and the artwork in college.
That's awesome.
And then they started selling it, and it's like,
Yeah.
pff, done.
That's great.
Sorry, you saying there's one?
I went to school because in Oregon State there's a Willamette Valley there.
Yeah.
For wine, so I started tasting Pinot Noirs because that's primarily what they grow up there. But there was a wine that I was introduced to at Whole Foods. I think actually Silver Lake Wine introduced it to me on a tasting a while ago, and it's called Love Drunk, and it's
Good
a really
name.
cool label.
Good name.
Yeah, if you could probably find
Love Drunk Wine? Let's find a label, yeah.
Yeah, it's a really cool label and decent price. It's under $20. So you're asking for that.
Yeah, under 20, I think, for like a dinner bottle. Oh, that is a good label.
Isn't that
Is
fun?
It?
Yep.
Yeah, it looks like the cover to a record.
It does.
Almost like a
It
punk
does.
rock record. Yeah,
Like that's just fun.
$15 from Wine Library. There you
Yeah,
go.
so it's tasty and it's
you,
fun.
Timmy.
Thank you.
When they introduce it, it stands out too
Yeah.
on the shelf. It's like, oh, this is cool. Love Drunk. I like that.
I've recently become a real big fan of the white.
I love white.
I didn't drink any white until about a year and a half
good.
ago, and now I'm just so about it because I don't get hangovers.
And when you say white, is there a particular grape you like?
I think I like Chardonnay the best. It's got a good crispness to it, a good flavor.
Has a little more body to it.
Yeah,
Now,
I like a body.
Chardonnays now finally are, they're not oaked anymore. There was a period of time where Chardonnays, they must have just getting a lot of bad quality grapes. And they're just
Yeah.
like, let's just oak it and it'll be awesome. And it was not awesome. It
and
was
that's
crappy.
when they talk about it being like aged in oak barrels and stuff. Yeah.
And it's just like they were super buttery, oaky, and people were most people don't want that anymore. And so
I like
Chardonnays
that
kind of
crisp
went.
summer thing that's happening. Yeah.
They kind of went through a bad period of time, and now Chardonnays that are coming out, they're aged in stainless steel. They're crisp. They don't have that oaky, over oakedness that people don't want because you want to taste the grape.
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
have good quality grapes, you want to
Right.
taste the grape.
Yeah.
I really like Pinot Grigio because it's very crisp and minerally and dry. I like wines that are dry finishes. So that just goes with everything. You can just kind of drink it in an afternoon and you don't have to have anything with it.
Yeah.
So you might like Pinot Grigio too.
Awesome. I'll check it out. What do you, guys and girls watching us, we're going to get to your super chat questions in just a second. So if you have anything you'd like to ask Heather or myself on this live program, get in the super chat right now. And before we do, plug anything you want to plug.
Well, you guys got to tune in to Garage Squad every Wednesday night, 9:00 Pacific time and Eastern on Velocity Channel.
Pacific and Eastern?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
if you're
good.
Central, then it's 8:00. And they also are available on the Motor Trend app. So
that's good.
yeah, before it was just Velocity, and this year now they're also available Motor Trend. So if a lot of people might not have DirecTV or just, because we're so.
I don't have cable.
I don't
Do you?
either. No. So
You can't watch their own show. Right?
I can because it's on the Motor Trend app. So I was
NBC
excited
Sports
about
show
that.
last year. I had no way to
isn't that
watch
funny?
it. You know what's crazy? They wanted me to live tweet during the show, and they had to legit send me a file, and that I would have to hit play.
Yep.
At exactly.
That's what I did last year. That's what I did last year because I wanted to live tweet because I had a lot of interaction with fans.
Yeah.
It's actually hard. I don't think people realize how hard it is to watch the show and live tweet at the same time when things are going on because by the time you send your thing, so many things have happened already in the show and you're like, oh crap, and then people are responding. It actually is a little bit stressful. I found it. I was like, I can't get back to everybody in time.
Yeah.
Kind of like talking and producing a podcast at the same time.
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah. The other show
Exactly.
I produced, the Watch Show, I have to do his job and this job at the same time.
Oh yeah,
It's very hard.
That's confusing.
Yeah. Let's head over to the Super Chat. I'm going
do
to
we
check
do?
out your
What do
show.
we do
I have
with
the
Super
Motor
Chat?
Trend on demand.
Oh,
app.
good.
We just
So-
answer fans' questions. That's all.
Perfect.
They make a small donation to ask us a question that we answer on the show.
That's cool.
That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very easy. Car advice and whatnot. Let's see.
What do they
First
have for
one,
us?
looking for a fun hatchback leading towards the Mercedes GLA 45 AMG. Should I go for that or the Golf R, Focus RS, or maybe Audi S3 in Chicago? Okay.
That's important that they put where they're from.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Because Chicago has awful roads.
Right. And
Awful.
weather is
and
like
awful weather.
you need to be able to deal with sleet,
Yeah.
ice, snow.
Yes.
So what
Okay, the Focus RS is off immediately. I have one. It's stiff. You do not want that car in Chicago. The Golf R would be very nice in Chicago. It rides very well. So does the S3. The GLA is the big hatchback, right?
Yeah.
So the good things about the GLA, it's kind of like a rally car
Yeah.
in terms of you can bounce it on curbs.
Okay, well, that's kinda
It's got some
good.
suspension travel. It's got a real firecracker of a motor. It's got a 350 horsepower 2-liter turbo 4-cylinder.
This sounds like a good choice then.
Pretty cool car. The depreciation on them
Oh no.
is so terrible.
So as soon as you drive it off, that's it.
They're expensive. They're in the 50s.
Yeah.
They're expensive, and if you look at one that's 2 years old used, it's $24,000.
Wow.
They just right off a cliff.
Now, then my question would be, do they hold up or are they, is a 2-year-old a good choice for someone or
I
it's
don't know. Listen, you talk about used and German, your 3 favorite
I know,
letters
I know.
are CPO. Certified Pre-Owned Warranty.
Right.
Yeah, I would never buy any used German car without a warranty,
Yeah,
unless you're
it's
talking
too
about something very
expensive.
old.
Right. And then you're on a whole different thing.
Yeah, I would say for Chicago, the GLA 45 is good. I mean, there's other what else is
Sporty hatchback kind of.
sporty hatchback? No, you're not getting into a Macan at that price.
Did they say how much? Are they all around the same price?
So Golf R and Focus RS are both around 40,
Okay.
38, 40. The Audi S3 is almost 50. The GLA 45 is in the 50s.
I like Audis.
The Audi S3 is lovely.
Yeah.
Have you driven one of them?
I haven't,
It's a
but I
lovely car.
like Audis in general.
It's
and
very
yeah,
nice. It's
that
a
would
very
be-
nice car.
I drove the Audi R8,
Oh, that's a
and I loved it.
terrible car.
Yeah,
Terrible
I was
car.
like, well, I'll take one of those.
The R8's rad. They just made the announcement that they have scheduled the final build. They are ending production of the R8.
Oh
They don't sell.
no, but
No.
they drive. But it's so fun to
Oh,
drive.
they're awesome. They're awesome. It can join the list of a whole bunch of other awesome cars that no one's buying right now.
So why aren't they buying them? You think?
Lambos instead?
They're expensive.
Yeah, they're like
you know,
200,000.
They're like 200 grand,
Yeah.
and the Lambo is really the same price.
Hmm.
And so the real difference between the R8 and the Lambo is the interior volume.
Yeah.
The R8 is 4 inches taller than the Lambo roof height and has a lot more legroom.
That
so
seems
if you're
like
me,
that would, right? If you're a tall person,
if you're me, the R8 is the one to have. 100%. Great tall guy
How tall
sports
are you?
car. 6'3".
Oh yeah.
It's a great tall guy sports car. You would fit in the Lambo just fine, and you'd probably want that.
Okay.
The other one that's not selling and that's amazing is the new Acura Nsx.
Oh, it's not, huh?
It's not selling great. It's not horrible, but it's not selling a lot, and it's an incredible car.
I drove that one.
The new one?
It was last.
The hybrid one.
Last
the new
year.
Yeah. New
Yeah.
for last year?
Yeah.
Yeah, ridiculous, right?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, super awesome.
I know. It surprised me actually.
Right, but there's a limited number of people that want to pay $150,000 for an Acura.
Right, I know, and that's that. Well, that's why I said, "Oh, it's an Acura." I don't know, and then I got in. I was like, "This thing's awesome."
Rad. It's rad,
right.
and I had up in the mountains up here, up in the Angeles Forest, and my sustained canyon speed in that car, I think it was as fast or faster as anything else I've ever.
Right.
Done. The way it pulls out of corners is magic.
It's really cool. So just people, it's a brand image thing.
Yeah. What $200,000? Of course, it's a brand image.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of to suggest that someone who is going to spend $200,000 is not interested in the perception of themselves.
The image, right?
Is horseshit.
Yeah, obviously you are. Otherwise, just go get.
Otherwise, buy a Prius. You know what I mean?
Right.
We're in LA. There's rich people all over driving Priuses.
Absolutely right.
You know what I mean?
They don't care, and that's fine.
Or buy a 911.
Right.
You know what I mean? You want to be invisible in a supercar? 911.
Right. I think, interestingly though, mostly only men are buying the 911s, don't you think? I mean, the Porsche.
Oh, come on. No. Have you ever driven around Brentwood?
Yeah, I see a lot less women. Oh, yeah.
Oh, there's so many women in Century City and Brentwood and Beverly Hills driving down. Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, obviously, look, it's
I guess
more,
it feels like more men, yeah.
More men than women buy sports cars. But in this city, there are a lot of women that are buying 911 cabriolets. You know what I mean? There's a lot.
All right.
Yeah, more than most other places.
Yeah, more than other areas.
And the 911 is a female-friendly car.
Yeah,
it's easy.
Yeah,
it's if you want a sports car with no headaches, that's a good one to start with. Yeah. Steven says, my favorite Detroit Speed and Engineering car. Do you know Detroit Speed? You like muscle cars. Detroit Speed's in North Carolina, Mooresville, NASCAR country.
Wow.
And they do like really, really sick pro touring builds that are meant for like autocross and racetrack.
Oh.
And it's just 700 horsepower LSs and, short gear ratios and 315 square stances. And like my favorite was the C3 Corvette, which you can find on the left there. That little white vet.
There you go.
That little fucker had a 660 wheel horsepower NA LS engine and a 4-speed close ratio autocross gearbox. It was nasty.
And you drove that?
Yeah. I went to North Carolina, drove like 6 of their cars. 315s all around. Full subframes, like they build the complete subframes.
Wow.
The cage, they built all of it. It's rad.
And you're on a track?
No, I drove on the street. I'd love to drive on the track, but it didn't happen. I drove on the street. I would say that is. But Detroit Speed, I have a lot of love for those guys. The Tuckers and their whole staff is amazing. If you ever want some really, really ace muscle car shit.
That's fun.
Detroit, no. They're not the only people that do a good job. Art Morrison and a lot of other muscle car guys do a great job too, but Detroit Speed is really, really second to none stuff. Max says, can I trust an E90 or 92, presumably he means an M3, under $25,000. That's about the max of where I can stretch my budget, but that car's issues can be a little bit scary. All right.
So he's talking about which car now?
He's talking about buying an E92 M3, which is the 2007 to 13 M3.
Okay.
The V8 one.
Okay.
It's a lovely car. 25 is at the very low end.
That's scary.
It's going to be a high mile
scary.
car. It's going to be a little scruffy. Now, these cars have rod bearing issues, and if you have that issue, if you find some oil in the oil, metal in the oil, it's a full rebuild, and it's so expensive.
Yeah, that sounds crazy.
So expensive.
Is that the car? Oh, he's pulling
This
it
is
up.
the E90.
That's the E90. That's the car we're talking about.
But didn't we just say that German cars and old German cars? I mean,
but V8 though.
It's a lovely car to drive. They sound amazing. They're really cool cars, but look, if all you have is 25, don't.
Get something reliable.
Yeah, 25 gets you a lot of car.
Yeah.
But not a lot of German car. You know what I mean? What would you spend 25 on? 25 will get
get a Subaru.
It'll get you a great Subaru. It'll get you a great Mustang.
All-wheel drive. The Subarus are all-wheel drive. They handle pretty well. If you're
yeah.
looking for, it's practical. I know people aren't like, ooh, that's sporty, but they can.
No,
You
they
can get
can
sporty.
be.
You
Yeah,
can make
STIs
them. You can make them sporty.
Hell yeah, yeah. I think. Look, I can appreciate why you'd want to get a cheaper M3. If you roll the dice and win, you know, you could have a car that will hold value well, because these V8s they're gonna come up. They are.
Yeah.
Because everything's turbo. Everything's the biggest physical engine to ever be sold in a car is usually one that becomes valuable, right?
Right.
You can always count on the giant motor to be the one that's worth the money.
It will be, but
if
the
he's
risk.
but an engine rebuild on that thing is like $16,000. You know, you can end up with a paperweight in a month. Can't roll that dice.
No, I don't think that's a good.
Yeah.
That's not a good financial decision.
He's asking a financial question that has a bad answer. I'm sorry.
It's not the
Max.
answer he wanted to hear. I'm sorry.
And that's stretched out too.
It's definitely not, huh?
That's stretched out. That's his
stretched
budget
to
maxed
25.
out.
No,
Yeah.
I think if you want, so I don't know if you need a back seat or whatever. We talked about this on the last podcast. $20,000 gets you a used BRZ with a Roadtrek supercharger on it that will be one of the best handling, most fun to drive cars fast. And that's
what you would recommend
That's my
for Max.
$20K for that, with 5 left over for some modifications or
if
whatever.
you want to do anything to it.
Yes. Thank you, Quinn, for your donation. Brandon says an 83 Volvo 245 wagon. Wait. For learning to track. Learning to drive on a track. So he wants to turn an 83 Volvo 245 wagon into a track car.
That's kind of fun.
For power, do I do a dual overhead cam swap or factory turbo? Money and power are the same. Home track is Adams Motorsport. Okay, this dude lives in Riverside. 5 minutes. 5 minutes, we'll be done. The PR person's like, I'm gonna go. It's cool. We're sorry. So here's the thing. Adams Motorsports Park, you ever been out there?
Where is it?
Adams Motorsports Park?
No, where's
that? It's in
that?
Riverside. It's basically a go-kart track.
Okay.
They run autocross on it too.
Oh, but they do.
It's not really a track. It's
a
it's an autocross.
Okay.
It is a legit autocross.
It is.
But instead of cones in a parking lot, it's laid out like a racetrack, but it's the size of an autocross.
Okay.
I would say if you're going to track a car and you can get the same power with a better head NA versus a turbo, the heat management is going to be your issue, especially in Riverside, especially in low speed, gear, high RPM situations. I say dual overhead cam. What say you, Heather Storm?
I'm going to go with you on this one.
Okay. Let's see. Justin. Oh, thanks, Justin. Justin gives us $20 every single show.
Wow.
He's a boss.
He says...
Oh, Matt, Napa, Alpha Omega is the best. That's a winery, isn't it? Isn't Alpha Omega a vineyard? I believe it is.
Yeah, that's what he's sharing.
Would love to set you up there.
Perfect.
You taste for free if I set it up. Sold.
Nice, Justin. Thanks for that.
Justin doesn't just donate. He bought one of my cars. He bought my Skyline.
And he knows wine.
Thanks, Justin. I'll
awesome.
email you later. One more time before we get out of here. The show is Wednesday nights. Oh, my God.
Start again.
You do the
Breathe,
plug. I just had a brain bubble. Can you do it, Heather? I'm sorry.
Wednesday nights, Garage Squad on Velocity, 9 p.m. And you can also check it out on the Motor Trend app. And actually, it's a bonus because the first 4 episodes are already on the Motor Trend app right now.
Oh, cool.
So, and if you want to learn more about me, you can go to heatherstorm.com.
And Drive Yourself Local on YouTube.
You
just got started there. Subscribe.
Yeah, so give me some love.
Thanks for coming in, Heather.
Thanks for having me.
This went better than I thought, actually.
Great.
Yeah, no, I didn't know how I was going to go when you came in, but you're fucking rad.
Awesome.
You have an open invite, my friend.
I had a good time.
Yeah, next time you got something to plug, come on back and join us.
That'd be great. Thank
you for having us. Thank you, live folks, for all your super chat questions and donations. We appreciate that. The Smoking Tire Podcast is powered by Shout Engine. Get your own damn podcast at shoutengine.com. It's easy. All you need is a microphone, a connection to the internet, and hopefully something to say. I'll see you guys next time. Good day.